Episode 3, Engaging Conversations. I'm sat next to the main man, Mr. Jonte Smith, aka R9. That's what I call him. Excellent finish. How you doing, Joss?
Not too bad, it's been a crazy couple of weeks with the playoffs, getting back into training, and then everything sort of shutting down quickly after about 3 weeks of hard work.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit crazy, but dealing with it all right.
How did you find lockdown?
It wasn't too bad. I actually like, my own space at times, and I felt like I was able to cope with it better than others.
Most people.
Yeah, but I was, in contact with friends back home and family, and it all felt quite a bit normal.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, where are you from?
So I'm from Bermuda. Born there, lived there for 16 years before I, moved over to England to try and become a footballer.
Yeah. And how was that? When did you come over?
So I came over August 2010, and started off at just a local village Sunday league team, Newdigate, and started from there. Just started playing, scoring goals, and worked my way up.
Yeah, because I remember when you came to Sutton United, you took the piss out of me, you nutmegged me. And I realised, there and then I realised, I was like, there's something here, there's a player here, definitely.
Yeah, James Bracken, he came and watched me while I was playing for Newdigate and said, come over to Sutton's under 18s, and that's when I started training, and that's, when I met you. Yeah,
James. What's happening, James? Need to get you on here at some point. But yeah, no, mate, it's been a roller coaster. How many years ago was that now? I'm trying to think now.
Must be 8, 9 years now.
Yeah, and been absolutely, time's flown. So yeah, like Cheltenham, situations. If you look at your career 18 months ago, where you was?
18 months ago, non-league, Lewis. I think I spent 2 to 3 years there. I guess it was maybe the second place where I spent a lot of my time playing football. I think it ended up being about 60 goals in 120 games. So it was enjoyable in terms of playing and performing, but always had the ambition to, kick on and push higher.
Yeah, because you started at Crawley Town, didn't you?
Yeah, so I left Sutton and went to Crawley's under 18s.
Give us a chance, will you? I'm still Sutton United through and through till this day.
Yeah, I know, and they hold a place in my heart too. Yeah. That's where everything started. But so when Crawley's under 18s, and had an amazing season, 28 goals in 31 games in the youth team, and I was top scorer in the country at the time.
Yeah.
So it was things like that was just you're always going to remember and think fondly of. And from there, I got a pro. Steve Evans was the manager who gave it to me, but shortly after left for Rotherham.
Yeah. Football's crazy because one day you're with a manager, the next day they might be out of a door. For various reasons, they might get another job somewhere, or they might lose their job. It's like, for example, I was dealing with another manager the other day. We're having a conversation, trying to get somebody in, and they lose a game. 90 minutes later, he lost his job. And we're in a conversation about something, it literally flips on its head all the time.
Yeah.
But so how do you deal with that?
Well, I mean, even at Crawley, Sean O'Driscoll was manager all the pre-season, and I was involved, doing well. 2 weeks before the season starts, Nottingham Forest call him, and he's off, new manager in. And all of the work during pre-season is just not going to waste, but a new manager comes in, he hasn't seen a first year pro doing what he's doing through pre-season, so he turns to the older heads and the experience that he has, which led to me going out on loan.
You've had a few football teams, mate.
Yeah, a few loan spells, a bit of bouncing around, but eventually you want to get that stability.
Yeah, and I think that's where we're starting to plateau towards now, where we're going to say, okay, you know what, you've come back into the league because you went from Lewis to...
I went from Lewis to Oxford.
How did you find that?
Again, like their facilities were top drawer.
Yeah.
you know, good coaching staff, great players there. You know, it's an enjoyable experience, but it just didn't work out the way that I thought it would.
Yeah.
Sometimes in football that happens, you know. And I actually really liked it at Oxford because I thought we're really in the door now. We're gonna kick on because I'll never forget this, honestly. This is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. I called Jonte, I say, listen, we're going to a trial. Drove all the way, where was it? Calm, somewhere really, really far out there.
Yeah.
You're supposed to get 90 minutes on trial. How many did you get?
45.
And how many goals did you get in that game?
Hat-trick.
Left foot, right foot, header.
Yeah, perfect hat-trick.
In 12 minutes.
Yeah, 12-minute hat-trick off the bench at halftime, and you know, everything just sort of took off from there.
Yeah, no, that was unbelievable. And you was playing against Oxford, wasn't you?
Yeah, so it was playing for Swindon against Oxford, and you know, a few difficulties came involved in Swindon, which led to Oxford trying to get something over the line.
Yeah. I'll never forget that day to the day that I never, ever. It was just fascinating.
Yeah.
I remember standing there with my umbrella. I literally said to myself, enough's enough, I'm going back to the car now. I just said, enough's enough.
Seen enough time to go.
Yeah, enough was enough that day. But yeah, no, it's been good memories, really, you know. And then obviously now you was at Cheltenham. Talk me through that situation. How did you find the whole process when you first arrived?
So it was interesting because, you know, I went there on trial originally and, you know, played against Burnley in a pre-season match where, you know, I had done quite well, and they had...
Yeah, I was watching you.
Yeah, they was... Yeah, but they had stated their interest.
They surrendered after that.
Yeah, but then, you know, a few weeks went by and nothing had really sorted itself out, but eventually things came around and it worked out and ended up signing in September.
Literally, what was it, 2 weeks or a week into the season, maybe?
Yeah, I think I missed the first 4 games.
Yeah. And funny enough, you made your debut against Stevenage and you'd spent your whole time,
Yeah.
the whole pre-season at Stevenage.
Yeah, so yeah, whole pre-season at Stevenage, and you know, to be fair, I thought something was going to materialise there, but that didn't work out the way that we thought either. But you know, things have a way of working themselves out. Playing against Stevenage, making my debut, and obviously getting the win that day as well, which was nice. I pretty much didn't have any off-season. I went straight from training at Oxford to training in Bermuda. The day I landed, I had to go straight into training, preparing for the Gold Cup.
How was that? What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. You know, started off from having private flights to different countries, and
It's my kind of stuff, that.
yeah,
It's my kind of stuff, that.
very, very tough lifestyle. But yeah, flights to Costa Rica and Dallas, Texas, New York, and playing in, you know, some amazing stadiums. Yeah, it was a really great experience because it was the first major international tournament that Bermuda's been a part of.
Yeah.
And, you know, the next one's hopefully going to be in 2021, you know, COVID-19, if, you know, things work out.
Down,
yeah. But hopefully we can qualify for that and, you know, go again.
Interesting stuff, interesting stuff. So how did you keep yourself ticking over during quarantine, COVID?
Yeah, so they gave us programs, basically, more than anything, running programs, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, all running. You know, we had to use different apps to track our runs and send it in to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because, you know, everyone had the implication that season's going to start back up again.
Yeah.
Little did we know that it would only be the playoffs and not the final 10 games of the season. So, yeah, from there, we maintained fitness, and it was a bit of a crash course of pre-season.
Yeah.
3 weeks of intense work and hard running just to prepare for, you know, 2 games.
Yeah, no, it gets like that because do you remember when you went to Woking a few years back? Yeah. And Mario Alexander Salmon told me, Mars, what are you saying? He said to me, that Jonte, he's really, really taking the piss out of me today because I thought I was fit, but he's lapping everybody, making everyone look bad. How do you even stay that fit?
So, you know, from Crawley days, Simon Ross was the youth team manager. And the runs he used to have us on, we were doing hill runs in the forest twice a week, every week, no matter what, rain, blow or shine. And I think my fitness level was at a completely new height at that point. And when I realized, you know, how far I could go in terms of fitness, I just wanted to make sure I maintained that level and never dropped below it. And, you know, from there, once you maintain that type of level and you take it to other clubs and they, you know, recognize, okay, this, you know, he can run, he can go for 90, 120 minutes, you know, it leaves an impression.
No, most definitely, because when I'm thinking about the pre-season that James and that used to make us do, it's just bringing me nightmares as it is, just sitting there thinking, and then let alone you're just going to lapping people in pre-season. The older pros are not going to like that. The older pros are not going to like that.
They're not going to like it, but you know, they have experience on their side that, you know, has its benefits with the management, and for the younger players, you have to make your impressions in other ways. You might not have the experience that they do, but you know, if you're running past everyone and all the running, and if you're putting balls in the corners of the net consistently, you know, that's what you have to do.
So in that fitness, how was Finland when you went over there?
Finland was, you know, it was interesting. I feel like it was a different time of my life where I was, you know, more open to traveling and playing abroad. And, you know, we went there. We had 9, 10 foreign players in our team from England, Canada, Denmark, Germany, Holland. Like, you know, it was a very multicultural team. And, you know, we had a manager, Tommy Taylor, used to play for West Ham, like, you know, a big name in football, which is sort of what not dragged me over there, but I was happy to go over there because it was someone like him on the management side of things. And yeah, I had an amazing season. We got promotion. I got top scorer in the league. I scored 22 in 25 games in the league that season. And, you know, from there, it's just...
CK, you hearing these numbers? You hearing these numbers? In 20, was it 22?
22 in 25 games.
25 games. Crazy numbers.
Yeah, so, you know, top scorer in the league, won the league, promotion, and just all in all, great season. Loved it up there.
Yeah. No, you know, I've followed your career since day one, since you nutmegged me. Like, and I've just always kept an eye out, and I was like, you know what, you deserve to be a lot higher in football than where you are. How do you navigate that kind of situation where you know yourself, you're supposed to be somewhere. You're supposed to be, you know, nothing's given, nothing's, you know, you got to earn it. But you know, you prove yourself time and time again. It's like now, your numbers at Cheltenham, how many minutes? Probably say like 600 minutes throughout the whole season. And goals to get, how many numbers on?
I think it was 4 goals, 2 assists, roughly 600 minutes. I think started 4 or 5 games.
And then one of your starts was in the Leeson.com trophy. Hat trick.
Hat trick.
Again.
Against West Ham.
Again, left foot finish. That was different.
Left foot, right foot header.
Usual behaviour. Usual behaviour.
Noticing a theme.
Yeah, it's a theme. It's a theme. So, do you find it difficult to stamp your authority in a dressing room? Not in like a provocative way, but do you find it quite difficult that you do all of these things and then yet you're struggling to get on a run? And what is it? What makes, why do you think that situation keeps occurring?
It's a tough one to answer because I feel like there's a lot of different variables. You know, you have, for example, the big money earners at certain clubs, you know, which tend to be strikers. So, you know, if you're coming in
hat-tricks
and there's
pay the
already,
bills.
hat-tricks pay the bills. But, you know, if you're coming into a club that have, you know, 2 or 3 of those, there's certain politics to football where no matter what, the big money players are gonna play. You know, I can work hard, I can score goals and do what I can do, but it's hard for management and board members to justify paying the big fees if they're not going to play.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's happened a few times where, you know, I've started a game, scored, played well, and the next game I'm not in the team.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's hard to take, but I guess you have to be understanding and just knowing that, you know, next time you play, you have to just do that little bit more.
Yeah, no, it gets like that because, I mean, even with bigger earners sometimes, it just depends at the club where you are, depends on the management. They sometimes struggle to, for example, Jacob Mellis at Mansfield, new manager came in, straight away target. You need to go. You need to go.
Yeah.
Big money earner there, but the manager, new change, which is as we spoke about earlier, out of the door straight away. But that's it. Left League 2, went straight to League 1.
Yeah.
So to a club 10 times bigger than the club he's just left.
And in a better league.
So what a stadium was over there, Bolton, by the way.
Oh, not wrong.
Well, what a stadium.
Yeah. But you know, sometimes football doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
But managers come in with their own ideas, and you know, as good of a player you might be, he has players that he's used in the past, and that's just what he might prefer. And it's nothing against you as a player. Like, you know how good you are, you know what you can do. And for someone like him, for example, to leave League 2 and I guess pushed out of the club to go into a higher league, it's like, well, it's a crazy world.
That's just football. Football's like that. So where are we right now? So you played in the playoff semi-final. You came on, because there's 2 legs against Northampton. You came on, did really, really well. Had an assist. Maybe, I'll give you it. Had an assist.
Give it to me. Yeah.
I'll give it to you. And then you start the next game with the whole Black Lives Matter situation. How did you navigate that? Was it difficult for you to kneel down, or was it a situation where, because everybody else was doing it, you felt like, you know, it's a lot easier? Is that something you would have done in the past, or is it something completely new to you?
So I think it all comes from, you know, Colin Kaepernick started it in the NFL, and you know what he was doing was the peaceful side of the protest that, you know, it got ignored. Now, I don't want to say violent protests, but protests that are a bit more noticeable are happening, and the kneeling is basically signifying, you know, this is the part that you ignored. Now everyone's doing it, but now you have to deal with the other side of the protest. So it was something that I was always planning to do, obviously with the platform of being on Sky and, you know, hundreds of thousands of people watching. It's something that I always wanted to do, and obviously the rest of the team, we had spoken about it as well, and you know, it was all about just trying to create a powerful moment to incite change.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I mean, it's a tough one because, I mean, I've spoke about it on the pod before. It's just, from where I sit on the fence, on my side of the table, it's difficult, you know. I've tried to go and get jobs from this organisation or that organisation. They've closed the door on me. Whereas, you know, I talk about pitches where we're trying to do work, filming, trying to get big jobs to do advertising, this, that, and the other. We put in so many pitches. We don't get the work sometimes. And I'm not saying that is why I'm not getting the work, because I've never been like that. I've never been blaming culture for certain situations that happen. I'm not that type of person. But it happens a little bit too often for my liking, a little bit too often. But that's not to say, okay, you need to be sour and go out there and start protesting, because people do things differently. For me, to make an impact and to be impactful in the world, I have to sit here and have a conversation with you, discuss it, catch up, laugh about Sutton United, the good times. It's all positive. It's all positive. I know we're talking about ups and downs of football, but that's general talk. That's an everyday situation. But then when we sit together like the way we are now, just having a conversation and trying to educate people in a technical way, that just keep going. keep pushing. Look how many ups and downs you've gone through.
Yeah.
How many?
Wrong.
So, you know, it's mental toughness at the end of the day where you just got to keep knocking the door and you've got to keep knocking the door and the opportunity is going to come your way. And I mean, you know, I thought that was a little bit harsh how, you know, you was treated, because what happened in the game? You got injured in the first couple of minutes?
Yeah, I got injured in the first 5 minutes of the game. And,
Yeah.
you know, I pushed through it to halftime, and to be honest, adrenaline carried me because as soon as I stopped running, the ankle swelled up, couldn't walk, and, you know, had to get taken off at halftime. But, you know, in a big match like that, you want to do everything that you can to make an impact. But obviously, within the first 5 minutes, getting an injury, it's
difficult.
It's difficult, but, you know, again, you keep going and doing what you can for the team. But then at halftime, when, you know, I wasn't really able to walk at that point, it's nothing I can do but, you know, get the shower and hope the boys do the job.
Yeah, and then the next day, release list.
Yeah, next day. It's, again, you know, from training hard for 3 weeks and being up 2-0 in the first leg and not expecting but anticipating that, you know, another good performance, we would be at Wembley and it would be another week of training, to, out of nowhere, you know, losing that game and season's done and, you know, no more training. It was difficult to deal with. And obviously getting the call the next day to say, you know, we're not going to be able to keep you on. And so it was, you know, it was a difficult 24 hours.
I can imagine, injured, released. Now, this is where it becomes a little bit difficult for somebody, because now you're going to have to deal with that. And this is what I'm talking about, the mental toughness. Yeah. That these things are going to keep happening. They're going to keep happening, they're going to keep happening, but it's how you react to it.
Oh yeah, it's been a consistent factor in my career, and you know, you've been a big part of that, and you've known every time it happens, we just go again.
Yeah, we go again.
We go again. We score another hat trick. We go somewhere else and improve ourselves all over again.
Sorry, John, it's Keaton. Type in relentless.com on Google now, and tell me what comes up. That's what we're trying to do. We're relentless.com. Everything, we're coming for it, in a good way, of course, because we know, just trying to create something positive to make everybody feel that can be part of anything. Anything you want to do in this world, you can do it if you're the right people and you put your mind to something. And you can achieve anything. Come from Bermuda at what age?
16.
And it's been one goal ever since, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Nothing ever changed.
Nothing ever changed. Goalposts in the same place.
Yeah.
Keeping the way, but he doesn't matter.
Yeah. And thanks to Nicky and Clay as well, because boy, they've been through it, haven't they? With dealing with the emotional turmoil.
Not wrong, because they're so invested in me as a son and you know, football in general. It's been as difficult for them as it is for me, because you know, they've seen me working hard, putting in the hours and performing well, and not always getting what, you know, we feel we deserve. But things aren't always going to happen that way. They're not always going to work out that way. But that doesn't mean that we stop trying. It doesn't mean we stop working hard. It just means, you know, the next one might be the one where things fall into place. Yeah. And even if it isn't, you on to the next one.
Yeah, no, definitely it's tough. It's tough, but we'll work something out. You know we will. We always find a way. We always do. We always find a way. And I mean, all I can say is just keep pushing. I'm ever so grateful that you allowed us to be part of your situation to try and help your career move forward. Because, you know, I think haven't had the experience and seeing it for so many years, and when you see and you believe in somebody, you don't quit on them. But then there's also a flip side to that sometimes, because you can always give someone enough. Yeah. But then there comes to a point, Santi, if they're not going to give it back, it doesn't weigh out.
It's a two-way street.
But with you, anything we ask, you crack on with it, you don't complain, you smile, that laid-back Bermudan attitude, sometimes maybe a little bit too laid back.
Yeah, but you know, I try not to be a problem to you.
Nah, never, not one day. Never given me a problem. the only problem you give me is the goals that you score, and then I'm having to try and make something work.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get in a little bit of a pickle and a little bit of a situation because, you know, I let them have it. Because I let them have it. Because target, championship.
Yeah.
Is it still the same goal?
Yeah, you know, we wanna get there one day, but just when we get there, that doesn't mean that's where we stop.
No, never.
Yeah, we always strive for higher.
Yeah.
Push further.
Push further, most definitely. How's the ankle? Has it come along?
I'm walking a lot better now.
Yeah?
It was a period of time where, you know, standing was an issue.
Yeah.
But definitely making progress. Rehab's going well and should only be another 3 weeks.
Yeah, which would be fine. Because, you know, the season's only just, it's barely even finished.
Yeah, so, you know, off season, it's not ideal, but
yeah.
If it were a good time to come, this would have been it.
So you're going Bermuda this summer, or, well, this summer, we don't know whether we're going to come in or go in, really.
Yeah, funnily enough, Bermuda's not even an option. There's only limited flights and they're all completely booked. Like, there's no seats left, so, I mean, ideally, maybe go somewhere in Europe for a few days, but other than that, I'll be in England.
Yeah, I think we need to go Sweden.
Sweden?
Yeah. I think I know a nice little spot over there where we can just put our feet up and cool off for a couple of days, because all you know, it's tiring, like all the work and traveling.
Yeah, you know, you do need a bit of a reset. It's hard. Sometimes it is hard to do it when you're still in the same environment that you've been working hard constantly in for the last year.
Yeah.
So sometimes you do need to just go somewhere to give yourself that mental break.
Yeah. So what would you say to, you know, people that might be, you know, looking at this conversation, people in Bermuda? Is there anything that you want to say to some people, or just say thank you to this person or this or that?
Well, you know, my family's always been a big supporter of me.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I've said thank you to them so many times in different interviews. My parents have actually said stop doing it. But for people that are watching, for like, you know, young kids, for example, in Bermuda who want to try to play football, you have to commit to it. You have to commit 100% to it. If anything less, it's gonna be far more difficult than you'd ever expect.
Well, Jonte Smith, and that's episode 3 of Engaging Conversations. See you next week.